Okay, we're going to start with the nation. Federal government ministerial panel to enforce council autonomy. INEC plans diaspora and inmates voting. NDLEA intercepts Australia-bound drug dealer. Nigeria partners Ethiopia's first securities exchange. Stampede, Oyo slams 18-count charge on Naomi and others. ISWAP, no cause for alarm, says Southwest states. Lawmakers seek special status for Lagos. We don't owe First Bank $225 million, says General Hydrocarbons. Okay, which story are we starting with?
I have to take the General Hydrocarbons story, because I took the beginning of it. So, General Hydrocarbons responded to First Bank.
Obaigbena.
No, he did not respond in his personal capacity. He responded. In fact, somebody responded on his behalf. The Director of Strategy and Operations, Abdul Muiz Bello, on behalf of GHL, accused the First Bank of abuse of court process in this order that the First Bank had gotten that froze all assets linked to their Oga at the top, Nduka Obaigbena. And they brought out details. They said that what they have with the First Bank is a subrogation agreement, and a subrogation agreement is one where you accept liabilities or assets of some form in exchange for something else. So they are insisting that they have this arrangement in 2021, May 29, with the First Bank, and they agreed that the GHL said that the First Bank should fund the exploration, production and development of OML 120, that's the oil well in question, in exchange for sharing profits from oil proceeds from the OML in a 50-50 ratio after all statutory payments and taxes were paid over 8 years. He said the First Bank's 50% share would then be used to pay down its non-performing loan of about $718 million, which was also discounted to go at $600 million to resolve First Bank's insolvency issues. They are insisting at the time to keep the bank afloat. The bank had to do this arrangement, and their loan was then sold at $600 million as an eligible banking asset, which with comfort the GHL, that's the General Hydrocarbon, agreed to go into that agreement with them. The First Bank collected cash from AMCON, which they then rebuilt the bank without GHL's needs. Then the First Bank's non-performing loan rose from FBN's unsecured and reckless lending to another oil well, Atlantic Energy, under a separate strategic alliance agreement.
Okay, I got lost somewhere there. Not really sure, but you understand what you're reading?
Yeah, I understand. You're getting lost. Okay, so they have an arrangement with GHL, which is the General Hydrocarbon, and they were supposed to fund an oil well for them, and the production and all the exploration happening there for a 50% arrangement. At the time they went into the agreement, they are insisting First Bank was already having solvency issues, which means they were already like bankrupt.
So they needed that money.
Yeah, they needed the money, and so they paid this money over time, which kept First Bank afloat.
Gotcha.
So they are now separating themselves from another arrangement, that a loan that First Bank gave to Atlantic Energy, which now cost First Bank to lose another standing, and then bringing that to them. They brought it all the way to their recapitalization, which happened recently, saying that First Bank, if they had recapitalized on their existing status, they would have declared a negative of 46 billion, but that they went on and they declared an excess of 377 million for the year ending of 2020. So the details, go and read Nation. You plenty. I read it. It was very long. There's no way to summarize this. Every paragraph is giving you information, but I'm interested in this story.
I have NDLEA. So a 40-foot trailer load of skunk, that's a strain of cannabis weighing 2,217.6 kilograms, had been intercepted by operatives of the NDLEA. This trailer was seized while it was distributing the drugs into 6 vehicles at an abandoned fuel station in Kubwa, the FCT. And these vehicles were planned to, go to the north for distributions in the northern parts of the country. They said that the NDLEA operation took place about 1:20 a.m. on Saturday. Not only did they seize the drugs, they also seized the trailer and 6 other vehicles. Then a 42-year-old Isaac Monday Desmond is the suspect that was arrested in connection to this particular one. Then they said the consignment was loaded into a trailer at Uzeba in Owan local government area. So Owan East or West, I'm not sure, it's not stated here. And then further they were caught.
Okay.
Then there was also another raid in the FCT. 2 suspects, Anthony Namdi 42, Abali 27, were arrested by NDLEA. They had a combined 1.38 kg cocaine and a precursor substance used in preparing crack cocaine recovered from them. No fewer than 20 wraps of cocaine weighing 330 grams have been recovered from cargo going to Australia by logistics, and so on and so forth. As you know, they give us like a breakdown of what they do of the operations, you know, in a period. And so well done again, NDLEA, for this big win.
Okay, so the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, is pushing for reforms that would permit voting by Nigerians in the diaspora and inmates at the correctional centers. Also, if the proposals receive the National Assembly's approval, persons engaged in essential services during elections, including security personnel and agents and journalists, would also have the opportunity to cast their votes during the general elections, because usually they are so busy, you know, trying to secure the places. Journalists are trying to get news and they end up not casting their votes. The Commission also requested the National Assembly to expedite action on passing the law establishing the Electoral Offences Commission and Political Party Registration and Regulatory Commission. It stated that a separate Electoral Offences Tribunal would lift the burden of investigating and prosecuting electoral offenders from the agency. Also, they submitted a 75-page INEC report of recommendations on the 2023 general elections. You know, it was presented to the Senate and House Committee on Electoral Matters over the weekend by INEC Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu. Some of the observations included interference in the electoral process by the political class, the attitude of polling agents and election observers at polling units, the deployment of technology for election, low turnout of voters, and increased involvement of the political class in violence. Yes, the report also stated that 142 actionable recommendations were harvested, and of these, 86 require action solely by NEC, 42 by NEC in collaboration with other entities, 3 by the security agencies, 8 by the National Assembly, and 1 by both the federal and state government. So I hope that these recommendations can be looked at, and then we see what will happen, and that they are ready for the next election.
Okay. So the Lagos State House of Assembly has renewed its call on the National Assembly to provide Lagos with special status in the ongoing constitutional review. The chairman of the House Committee on Information, Mr. Stephen Ogundikpe, made the call in an interview with NAN, that's the news agency of Nigeria, in Lagos yesterday. He noted that over the years, Lagos State deserves a special status because it's the economic nerve center of the country. He gave 3 instances. He said that Lagos, first of all, Lagos was the capital of the federal until 1991, back in December 12th. So secondly, Lagos has been critical to the economic development of the country and is generally regarded as the economic nerve center. And finally, the state plays host to many economic and strategic agencies, including critical revenue organs of the nation. The most viable international airport is located in the state, as well as 2 most viable seaports in the country, accounting for 90% of all maritime trade. So he's also saying again, as we've said here in the past, that Lagos deserves a special status in the constitutional review that is ongoing right now. Okay, moving on now to the nation. Serial outages, Dangote and NPCL in Punch. Total 247 firms dump discos, generate 6,500 megawatts. This is PDP factional secretary said for showdown, vow to resume today. NAF, that's Nigerian Air Force, unveils tough rules to curb airman's exodus. Again, 16 civilians killed as NAF bombs Zamfara bandits. How Carter intervened to save me from Abacha's gulag, says Obasanjo. Ogun housewife stabs husband to death for alleged infidelity. Stampede, Oyo files murder charges against Oni's ex-queen and others. 80th anniversary, GCU to honor Channels TV, Shell, Chevron buses and others. And California Fire Trump blames leaders for poor response as 16 people died. Okay,
we have the sad story of the Oyo State. So the ex-queen of Oni of Ife, Naomi Shilekunla, the proprietor of the Ibadan-based radio, Riyomi Hamzat, and the principal of the Islamic High School, Bashorun Ibadan, Abdullahi Fasasi, have been charged with 8-count charge bordering around murder, manslaughter, conspiracy to commit a felony, conspiracy to commit an offense of criminal negligence, and for the particular charges for the principal, failure to provide crowd control. So the state is alleging that they were negligent, they omitted to provide adequate security, crowd control mechanism and medical facilities to prevent a stampede at a children's fun fair which they organized. And he said that their omission led to the death of Musliu Sophia, an 8-year-old, and 34 other children. And so they are charging them. The principal of Fasasi faces a trial on a 4-count charge, including conspiracy, acceleration of death, negligent act causing harm, and failure to provide adequate security and medical facility. The governor had said that they must be made to face the book, they must be prosecuted. But this is every time we take it, is a very sad one.
Let's go on a very short break. When we come back, we continue with our review. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Stay tuned. Your view will be right back.